Good morning, everyone. Can I especially welcome our colleagues from the media, and a welcome to Diane, our member of the European Parliament, and our members of Parliament who are present with us, and of course all of our unemployed Assembly members and councillors as well. Hopefully that state will not last for too long. We are here, of course, this morning to launch our manifesto for the Assembly and local government elections. We want to ensure that Northern Ireland keeps moving forward. There are a small number of people who would seek to drag us back, but over the past 4 years, Northern Ireland has been travelling in the right direction. The political and economic stability and the unprecedented community solidarity evident in response to terrorism must be harnessed and built upon as we embark on the challenges of the next 4 years. The DUP has established itself and is seeking renewed endorsement as the main party of government in Northern Ireland. I encourage everyone to study our comprehensive manifesto and compare it with the offerings from the other political parties. We've tried to make it as easy for people as possible. They will see that this is a very detailed manifesto, but we have provided for your benefit a synopsis of that manifesto in a card which has our 7 priorities written on it and in reasonable detail. That will make the task, I hope, for the press so much easier. Colleagues, I would encourage you, having read the manifesto, to look at how we have detailed plans for all areas of the executive's responsibilities over these next 4 or perhaps 5 years. That's an issue yet to be settled. This is, in essence, a DUP programme for government. We delivered on well over 90% of the commitments in our 2007 Assembly Manifesto, and we attempted to implement the other 10%, but didn't get the necessary support. Under the current system of government, clearly we will require the support of other parties for some of the objectives that we are outlining. How I would like to have DUP ministers in every department, and what could Northern Ireland not achieve in those circumstances. But the more DUP ministers that we can have in key positions, the more of our agenda we can be confident of delivering. This year's manifesto unashamedly prioritises our local economy and jobs. We want to grow our Indigenous companies and have them exporting more. We want to continue expanding research and development and to attract further foreign direct investment. Over the next 4 years, we will aim to support the creation of 20,000 new jobs. We want to increase exports by 50% over the decade and make Northern Ireland the best place to do business in the whole United Kingdom. We're keen to have the power to reduce our corporation tax level, mindful that it mustn't place an insurmountable burden on our block grant allocation for investing in public services. We will work progressively to reduce corporation tax down as far as 10%. We want to be the most attractive base in Europe for business. We want to reverse the brain drain to ensure that we retain the best educated, most highly skilled workforce. The DUP doesn't need to consult on the issue of student fee hikes, those hikes of several £1,000s. The DUP is categorically ruling them out. The only increase that we will countenance is a continuation of the year-on-year inflationary adjustment, which has been routinely endorsed at 12-month intervals over the course of the last Assembly. Similarly, with water charges, unlike the other 2 Unionist parties, we'll not spend several hundred words prevaricating about our position or mapping out how we could come to introduce water charges. The DUP gives you a straight answer to this question. No ifs, buts, or maybes. It's not going to happen. We're a low-tax party. And we have no apologies to make for that. People already pay for their water. Assuming we are returned in sufficient numbers, the DUP ministerial team will use its strength on the executive to block any proposal to introduce additional charges for water for this complete Assembly term. We have identified childcare as a key area that we want the executive to concentrate on. We would have liked to have been in a position to promise affordable childcare Monday to Friday province-wide, but we cannot guarantee it because it may not definitely be delivered within the 4-year term. So we are committed to building towards that goal, making greater use of the schools estate. We offer a range of measures for assisting further our small businesses and retailers. We will extend and improve the Small Business Rates Relief Scheme. We introduced a rate relief scheme of 50% off the rates for those with rates up to £2,000 and 25% off those up to £5,000. We will now provide rate relief up to 50% for bills up to £5,000 and 25% up to £10,000. We will also seek to introduce the requirement for an upfront deposit to deter claimants from pursuing spurious industrial tribunal cases. We will aim to double tourism revenue over the next decade, reaping the benefits of substantial capital investment in our tourism infrastructure during the Titanic and Ulster Covenant centenaries and Londonderry's year as UK City of Culture. We will build on the positive work of the successive DUP culture ministers and the achievements they have made through close collaborative work with DETI. Our agri-food sector has been a marked success during a difficult economic period, and we will continue to assist it, marketing the province as the home of high-quality food and using this as another plus for our tourist product. We will continue our focus on developing renewable energy and protecting our natural species, green spaces and countryside. We waste far too many resources in Northern Ireland as a consequence of separation and duplication. Education is the most obvious example. We want to lay the building blocks for creating a single system for education and establish a commission which can advise on enhancing sharing. We want to see the roadblocks to rationalising education administration swiftly overcome. We will increase investment in the foundation years, continue to safeguard academic selection, and produce a cross-departmental youth strategy addressing areas including developing skills for employment. We will bring a strong focus to tackling underachievement and improving literacy. We will continue to champion early intervention, which not only delivers better outcomes for individuals, but substantial long-term savings for the public purse. However, this requires upfront investment, and with limited finances, we must consider innovative means of securing such funding. One option we are keen to explore is that of a social impact bond. This would open up greater opportunities for charities and voluntary sector organisations. I'll not go into the full detail of our plans to reform the political apparatus, as many of the press were present with us when we covered this in depth last week at the launch of our policy document, Making Stormont Work Better. Suffice to say, we will secure a legal requirement when we went into the St Andrews talks, and the Assembly is now legally required to report on how it can be improved. And we want the UK government to bring forward legislation to normalise politics here ahead of the next Assembly election. In the long term, the best means of governing Northern Ireland is by a voluntary coalition executive with weighted majorities, voting of around, say, 65% of the Assembly, and an end to community designation. We want fewer government departments and an absolute maximum number of 80 MLAs for subsequent Assembly terms. We want public services to be based more around the lives and preferences of our citizens. It must become easier to engage with the Northern Ireland Government, and we'll continue to make progress towards a single telephone number for all public service inquiries and facilitating applications to be made online. This process, of course, has already begun. For the first time, we have the opportunity to offer achievable justice proposals in a DUP Assembly manifesto. We will bring forward legislation for tougher sentences and make prison the norm for those who attack the elderly and the vulnerable. We want to see a victims' charter introduced, guaranteeing victims and their loved ones better treatment, communication and information about the progress of cases. The future role of the Policing Board should be reviewed in the context of the new powers now devolved and the establishment of a statutory Justice Committee at Stormont. We will continue the record investment for victims of terrorism and complete the implementation of our 10-year strategy for victims. We launched comprehensive proposals 10 days ago to achieve a more efficient health service with higher productivity levels, better quality care and improved outcomes. We guarantee year-on-year real terms increases in health spending and will drive down our excessive departmental and central administrative costs per capita to the same levels as the rest of the United Kingdom. We will loosen the stifling central control and not tolerate local commissioning groups being denied doing any commissioning. We have a detailed series of measures for improving cancer care, including expanding access to radiotherapy services. We will increase spending on health promotion and disease prevention to 2.5 times the pre-devolution figure in 2007 and introduce a dignity charter for older people in hospital, guaranteeing that they receive good quality care, hygiene and a nutritious meal. We will produce a long-term strategy for how we look after our older people in future decades, with an ageing Northern Ireland population and investment in intermediary care and preventative measures to limit the need for hospital admissions. We want to pilot automatic benefit payments. Pension credit is a good example. Over a third of individuals entitled, many of them in vulnerable circumstances, don't claim it. Not only could it make a significant impact to many of their lives, but it would also bring an extra £1 million per week into the Northern Ireland economy. We also want to shift the focus to reflect better the positive contribution older people make to Northern Ireland society through their skills and experience. Families are facing severe challenges in the current economic circumstances, and we have dedicated a section to how the Executive can help. We will keep household bills to a minimum, ensuring they remain the lowest anywhere in the United Kingdom, conduct an inquiry into the province's unacceptably high insurance costs, and promote energy efficiency in homes of all tenure types. Only time restricts me from detailing proposals in other areas of government, but you'll find over 500 of our commitments in our manifesto. This is also, of course, a manifesto for local government, and we reiterate our long-standing, well-recognised commitment to high-quality services at the lowest possible cost, giving people the lowest rates in DUP-controlled councils. We want local government to be the locus for coordinating activities by departments, agencies and others taking place within a council's boundary. As such, we want to see extra powers such as community planning conferred and the establishment of new reconfigured councils at the earliest stage. In closing, our manifesto can now be accessed at mydup.com, but for those who may not have the opportunity to receive or access the full document, we have also produced tens of thousands of our summary cards outlining our 7 key priorities for each access on the campaign trail. That, we hope, will go through most doors in Northern Ireland over the next number of weeks. In East Belfast, an extra 15,000 of those will be going through the letterbox. So together, the card and manifesto represent our agenda for the Assembly and for the 26 council chambers across the province over the next 4 years, as the DUP continues to keep Northern Ireland moving forward.